going on, everyone? My name is Jamon McKinney, or you can just call me Juice because that is my nickname. Which quarterback is under the most pressure heading into 2020? I had that answer for you guys today. We're going to dive into the 5 quarterbacks that are under the most pressure to win games and absolutely ball out heading into the 2020-21 NFL season. So let's get started right here. Okay, before I actually give you the 5 official players, 5 official quarterbacks I believe are under the most pressure, I have an honorable mention. And that guy is number 9 in New Orleans. His name is Drew Brees. Now, if Drew Brees retired today, he's going to go down in history, arguably, as a top 5 all-time quarterback. Now, personally, I think Drew Brees is right outside that, range of quarterbacks. I believe he's around the 6 or 7 range, simply because I think that he's missed the playoffs way too much throughout his entire career. He's missed the playoffs 9 times. He doesn't have an MVP. He's a 500 quarterback in the playoffs. And ultimately, I just never saw Drew Brees ever being the best quarterback in the NFL. I felt that he got as high as 2nd, maybe a couple seasons here and there, but ultimately, those are the reasons why I think Drew Brees is not quite a top 5 quarterback, but ultimately, he's going to retire as an all-time great, no doubt about it. And he's going to retire finishing top 1 or 2 in almost every major statistical category. So, in hindsight, Drew Brees, he's pretty much set for life. The brand that is Drew Brees is already set as an all-time great, okay? But listen, if Drew Brees wants to be in a category with Tom Brady, Joe Montana, if he wants to rise into being arguably maybe the greatest quarterback of all time, he's got to win a 2nd Super Bowl. There's no other way around it. And listen, Sean Payton has kind of made it known the last year or so that, hey, Drew Brees, I won't mind if you stay, but at the same time, I won't mind if you leave either. That's kind of the vibes that I've been getting from Sean Payton. Listen, they brought in Jameis Winston to be the backup quarterback. There are reports that they're going to give Taysom Hill a real shot to win the job once Drew Brees retires. And Drew Brees is 41 years old. This clock is ticking on Drew Brees. Father Time is undefeated. So if Drew Brees wants to win another Super Bowl, this is his final year. This is going to be the final year that he is going to have. This is his best chance to win another Super Bowl. If he doesn't win a Super Bowl this year, he's done for, okay? So Drew Brees is my honorable mention. Let's get into the top 5. The top 5 quarterbacks that are under the most pressure, in my opinion. Number 1, Dak Prescott. Number 2, Cam Newton. Number 3, Baker Mayfield. Number 4, Derek Carr. And number 5, Dwayne Haskins. Let's start at the top. There are absolutely no more excuses for Dak Prescott, aka Dak Bortles. And yes, I call him Dak Bortles at times because after last year, he lost a lot of stripes from me on my side, okay? I like to joke around a little bit, but either way, let's talk about Dak Prescott, aka Dak Bortles right here, okay? Listen, there are no more excuses. Cowboys fans consistently told me last year that, the reason we didn't make the playoffs, it wasn't because of Dak Prescott, it was because of Jason Garrett. Well, guess what? Jason Garrett, he's no longer on the team. He's no longer a head coach. Mike McCarthy, a Super Bowl winning head coach, is now the man in charge of the Dallas Cowboys. Dak Prescott, you got no more excuses. And listen, Dak Prescott, how much help do you need, homie? You have a great offensive line. You have Ezekiel Elliott. You've got Amari Cooper. You got CeeDee Lamb, who was the best wide receiver in the draft, in my opinion. You got Michael Gallup. As far as I'm concerned, your division is not that hard. Washington and New York are still rebuilding. And while Philadelphia is good, they only won 9 games last year, okay? If Dak Prescott is about that life, he has to make the playoffs this year. He has to make the playoffs. And listen, Dak Prescott, as of right now, does not have a long-term deal. He's playing on a franchise tag. And honestly, if Dak Prescott does not get a long-term deal with the Dallas Cowboys, I personally do not think the market is going to be that large for Dak Prescott next offseason, because who really truly needs a quarterback these days, okay? And even the teams that do really need quarterbacks, they have an opportunity to draft either Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields, or Trey Lance. So Dak Prescott, he's got to put up or shove this year. He has no more excuses. This team should be a playoff team. It was very disappointing that he did not win the worst division in all of football last year. And yeah, Dak Prescott is under a lot of pressure. Cam Newton is up next. Listen, Cam Newton plays for Bill Belichick. And I've seen Bill Belichick have a winning record with Jimmy Garoppolo, Jacoby Brissett, and Matt Castle. As far as I'm concerned, Cam Newton, he's one of the top 10 quarterbacks in the NFL when healthy. That's just my opinion, though. And Cam Newton is succeeding Thomas Edward Brady, Tom Brady, the greatest quarterback of all time, a guy that brought nothing but excellence to the New England Patriots for 2 decades. He won 6 Super Bowls. And listen, Cam Newton is only making roughly a little bit over $1 million this season. He's on a 1-year deal. This is basically a put up or shut up year for Cam Newton. If he does not make the playoffs this year with this roster and Bill Belichick as his head coach, that's a bad look for Cam Newton, because Cam Newton, as good as he is, I know he's won an MVP, I know he's been to a Super Bowl, Cam Newton has never had back-to-back winning seasons. And ultimately, the market was not that large for Cam Newton for whatever reason this offseason. The Patriots got him on a very cheap deal, and they signed him very late in the free agent period process, okay? So listen, Cam Newton, he's got to have a winning season. He's got to put up numbers, and he's got to ball out with the Patriots. Up next, Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield last year did not have a great season. He threw 20 interceptions. That doesn't even count the fumbles that he had last year. He was a turnover machine, and he was a mess. Baker Mayfield looked like, from his rookie year, that he was going to be potentially a top 10 quarterback. And this past year in his sophomore season, he got a rude awakening that, hey, I'm not quite as good as I think I am. And listen, you got Odell Beckham Jr., you got Jarvis Landry, you got Austin Hooper, you got 2 really good running backs in Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. Where's the excuses? Why can't you put up better numbers, Baker Mayfield? And listen, a big issue for the Cleveland Browns last year was their offensive line. Oh, guess what? They improved that in the offseason too. They drafted Jedrick Wills, who to me was the best offensive lineman in the draft. They went out and signed Jack Conklin to a big-time deal. They got him a more stable head coach, who to me is at least ready to be a head coach. Freddie Kitchens was not ready to be a head coach, and Freddie Kitchens was a big reason why Baker Mayfield failed last season. Kevin Stefanski runs an offense that suits Baker Mayfield's skill set. Baker Mayfield has to play well this year. Listen, Kevin Stefanski is a no-nonsense type of coach. You mean to tell me if Baker Mayfield's screwing around, he's going to deal with Baker Mayfield's antics? No, he's not. He's not going to deal with those things. And also, Case Keenum is sitting on the bench. A guy that is one of the best backup quarterbacks in the NFL. A guy that has been to an NFC Championship game. If Baker Mayfield struggles, I 100% guarantee you that Kevin Stefanski will bench him in favor of Case Keenum. So, he's got a lot to prove this year. Up next, Derek Carr. I don't think a lot of people are realizing the fact that Derek Carr is actually under a lot of pressure this year, you know? I'm convinced that John Gruden is not completely sold on Derek Carr. If John Gruden was sold on Derek Carr, he would have came out a long time ago and said, hey, Derek Carr, he's our guy long term. And according to NBC Sports, John Gruden is okay. He has an okay relationship with Derek Carr, but there are reports that John Gruden has issues with Derek Carr's inability to extend plays with his legs, and he has fallen in love with the athletic college quarterback who has taken the NFL by storm. Athletic college quarterbacks that have taken the NFL by storm. Pardon me, I misspoke a little bit right there. But either way, listen, there were reports that if Kyler Murray were available for John Gruden to draft in the 2019 NFL draft, he would have taken Kyler Murray. He was in love with Kyler Murray. Derek Carr's got to play well this year. He's got to win some games. I don't think he needs to make the playoffs this year, but he at least needs to look good. He at least needs to prove to me personally that he's the long-term quarterback for the Raiders, because outside of 2016, the season in which he won MVP, he's got 5 years of below 500 football. Outside of his MVP season, if you take that away, the other 5 years, he's a below 500 quarterback, and he's been an average quarterback. Listen, Derek Carr, he's got one of the best offensive lines in all football. You got Josh Jacobs. They just drafted you Henry Ruggs, who was the fastest player in the draft. Got Darren Waller, who's one of the best tight ends in all football. You got Williams at wide receiver, along with Herm Renfrow. There should be no excuses for Derek Carr. He should ball out this year. And last but not least, Dwayne Haskins. Dwayne Haskins, to me personally, is the future of the Washington football team. I believe Dwayne Haskins one day is going to be a top 10 NFL quarterback. I believe he has a lot of potential. But whether I believe that or the Washington football team's organization believes that, that's a totally whole new different story right there. Ron Rivera has came out and said, hey, I like Dwayne Haskins. I believe Dwayne Haskins has some potential. Let's give him a solid look. That's one of the reasons why Ron Rivera did not bring in Cam Newton to be the starting quarterback for the Washington football team this offseason, because I genuinely think Ron Rivera wants to see what Dwayne Haskins has as an NFL quarterback. He wants to give Dwayne Haskins a fair chance to win the starting job, but that's the thing. Dwayne Haskins has not been named the starter by Ron Rivera. It's a real competition with Alex Smith and Kyle Allen. So not only does Dwayne Haskins need to win the starting job, he needs to go out and prove to Ron Rivera and that coaching staff and that organization that, hey, this 15th overall pick that we invested in Dwayne Haskins, it was worth it. We have our franchise quarterback. I could see a situation where if Dwayne Haskins struggles, Ron Rivera will not be hesitant to go out and draft maybe a Trevor Lawrence or Justin Fields or Trey Lance if Dwayne Haskins doesn't show enough flashes this year. Personally, I don't think Dwayne Haskins has to win a lot of games. He just needs to look good. He needs to show a lot of improvement from this past year and just carry into this year what he did the final 3 games of last year, because the final 3 games of last season, Dwayne Haskins had 5 touchdowns to only 1 interception, okay? So I believe in Dwayne Haskins, but I don't know if Ron Rivera and the organization believe in Dwayne Haskins quite yet. So he has to go out and prove them right. He's already proved me right. I believe Dwayne Haskins is the future, but it's not my decision to make. So Dwayne Haskins, he's under some pressure this upcoming season. And listen, Carson Wentz is one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. We just saw Dak Prescott go out and throw nearly for 5,000 yards. And while Daniel Jones, had some ups and downs last season, if he were playing all 16 games, he would have broken Baker Mayfield's rookie touchdown pass record. So whether it's fair or not, there is some pressure on Dwayne Haskins heading into the 2020 NFL season. So that is my list right there. Number 1, Dak Prescott. Number 2, Cam Newton. Number 3, Baker Mayfield. Number 4, Derek Carr. And number 5, Dwayne Haskins. And honorable mention has got to be Drew Brees. Thank you so much for watching this video today. Please also note that the Juiciest Sports Podcast is not just a YouTube channel. It is available on all podcasting platforms, including Spotify, Google Podcasts, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts. Also, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share this content with all your friends. This podcast is my favorite thing in the entire world right now. It is my passion. And I want more people to listen to this podcast. I really want this podcast to grow. Also, a fun fact about me is that I want to go into the sports broadcasting and media world once I graduate from the University of Toledo, a college in Northern Ohio. I currently am a freshman there right now. I am looking to become one of the next great sports broadcasters and analysts out in the world. And I potentially would like to start my own network if this podcast really truly grows. Or if I fall short of that goal, I would love to work for a big-time network like ESPN or Fox Sports 1. I am open to all networks. So if you believe in my dreams and you see or hear my passion through the screen, be sure to tell all your friends about the Juiciest Sports Podcast. Stay motivated, you guys. Have a God bless day, and I'm out.